Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk about the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S. So it's been just about a year since we first found out, exactly what the PlayStation 5 was, about everything that it was going to be able to do, and all the excitement and hype surrounding that. It's been more than a year since we heard about the Xbox. They did show the Xbox at the Game Awards in 2019, so we basically knew about that all the way from December all the way forward from that point on. So hype was building and building and building. So what today's video is about the hype of the next gen of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X that are now current gen. I mean, we're basically at a year with these systems. These are current gen consoles. More people are starting to be able to get them faster. PlayStation's been doing some pretty big drops. Xbox has been dropping them. I've been seeing a lot of people actually being able to acquire these consoles. It did get slow there for a little while, but now that more people are starting to receive these consoles and starting to receive to be able to join, the next generation of gaming, I wanted to take a few minutes and kind of really go over, that hype factor that, just kind of see if both of these consoles have really lived up to the hype and up to the expectations that we had for them in the beginning of this generation. So I've had my Xbox Series X from day one. I pre-ordered it and got it day one. My PlayStation 5 I've had now for just over 6 months, I believe. So I don't necessarily have as much experience with the PlayStation 5 as I do with the Xbox. A lot of my feelings toward the PlayStation, I've been a PlayStation guy basically since the first PlayStation. So I've owned every PlayStation. I've bought almost every single PlayStation first-party game ever made. I've played through all of them. So at the end of the day, when it comes to being a PlayStation guy, like I was there, I'm going to be honest, this is the first generation of PlayStation that I was not hyped for right at the beginning. And a lot of that has to do with, how the PlayStation 4 Pro ended the generation on like a... I mean, the PlayStation games look great, but it kind of ended that generation on a whimper, I mean, if you ask me, I mean, we had 4K technology for TVs, and then we had a console that the Sony developers and a few other third-party developers could definitely hit that, to give us a nicer image on a 4K screen, whereas a lot of them were just hitting, like a 1080p or a lower resolution. So there's gamers out there that says resolution don't matter, and then there's gamers that says resolution does matter. I'm one of the resolution does matter kind of guys. I tend to sit closer to my 4K TV. You can see where I'm at right now. I'm about arm's length away from my TV. So that's where I sit when I do all my gaming. The furthest I get back is when I'm doing my sim racing. Then I'm about 5 feet away. That's so when you're sitting closer to your gaming to your monitor or your gaming TV, the closer you could 4K you can get closer. It's definitely better to get closer. Anything past 6 to 8 feet, you don't see any of that extra detail anyway. So it's kind of a waste of money to buy a 4K TV and then sit 6 to 8 feet away from it. I like sitting closer to my 4K TV. I like to see all that detail that the higher resolutions can bring, the higher fidelity brings. So when I So let's get back to this whole have these consoles lived up to the hype. The short answer is yes, and then the long answer is not yet. So if you're brand new and you just barely got your new console, you got your PlayStation 5 or you got your Xbox Series X or you got your Xbox Series S, then yeah, you are definitely at a point, like especially if you're getting them right now. If you just barely got these, you are starting to see some like wow. As a consumer that bought the Xbox first from day one, I didn't really start seeing anything really memorable visual wise until like MLB The Show. Yep, I said it. A Sony first party game on the Xbox was the first game that I actually saw that looked good on my Xbox Series X. Good enough to show you that really high fidelity, that really high fidelity 4K. Prior to that, the first one I had seen was Spider-Man Miles Morales on my PlayStation 5. So PlayStation 5, well, and Demon's Souls and Miles Morales. So the first really true next gen looking game I saw was one of those three. So I believe I had Miles Morales and Demon's Souls far before I had the I got the MLB The Show after the other two, after I'd already had my PlayStation 5, because I was kind of trying to decide, should I buy it on my Xbox, should I buy it on my PlayStation. I decided to buy it on the Xbox. I wanted to see what it was going to do. So prior to that, the best looking games, were on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. They were Dirt 5. Dirt 5 looks pretty good, but I still feel like it wasn't until Demon's Souls and Miles Morales that I really saw, like, wow, and Godfall, that I was like, whoa, man, these graphics are great, They looked really good, and, that's kind of Microsoft's fault. They put out the console. They didn't really have anything ready to go. Yeah, you can blame Microsoft for that, or you could say blah, 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 whatever, the who buys a console to play old games. Well, I'm one of those guys. To me, upgrading the Series X was more along the lines of upgrading my graphics card, upgrading my CPU, because all of my older games ran better. And as a gamer, that's what we want. We want our games to look better. We want our games to feel better. We want them to be able. And for Microsoft, game preservation has been really meaningful to me, to say the least. The fact that my console can upgrade games just because of what's inside my console, playing the same code, that to me was amazing. So PlayStation 5 is doing it too, to a certain extent. They do have to go in there and patch some of these games, and but the results of that, Horizon Zero Dawn, 60K or 60 FPS, 4K, looks pretty dang good. It already looked good. God of War, same thing, 4K, 60 FPS. I believe we're getting one. We're going to be getting Death Stranding soon. The Ghost of Tsushima game already looked great, running at 60 frames a second. Now that it's actually got a PlayStation 5 version, it looks even better. So yeah, PlayStation is doing this, and the fact that the PlayStation games can look and run so much better on the next gen PlayStation 5, that's amazing to behold in itself. PlayStation has been upgrading some of these games. It's been kind of hit and miss though. Some of them are getting true next gen upgrades, while some of them are just getting unlocked frame rate and then pushing the higher bounds of the 4K checkerboard, which looks amazing, which looks great. Like God of War, yeah, these games look amazing. So I wouldn't say that they're a tie, but at the same time, like, the PlayStation games already look good, and the Xbox ones already look good too. So Xbox basically hasn't been charging us for next gen upgrades. PlayStation has been, hit and miss, depending on if it's a PlayStation 5 version, they've been charging us. Third party developers, Square Enix with Final Fantasy VII Remake, they didn't charge us for the upgrade fee, but they did sell us a DLC. There's a few other games that they've given us, the third party developers have given us free upgrades, like Neo 2. We got a free upgrade for that, but not for Neo 1. We have to pay for that upgrade. So it's been kind of hit or miss. You're either getting a free upgrade or you're going to have to pay for it. So far, PS Plus this generation has been kind of hit or miss. They have been giving us free PlayStation 5 games, but these PlayStation 5 games are really niche titles, or nobody really cares about them. Some of them, like we got Plague's Tale, that was a good one. We got Wreckfest, that was a good one. Abe's Odyssey, that one was pretty decent. Destruction All-Stars, I'm kind of hit or miss with that game. Like, I don't hate it and I don't love it. So, that was a decent one. At least you didn't have to pay for it. They did start selling that $20. Hunter's Arena, that one's been kind of, I love the idea of it, but they need to execute that better. They need to keep working on that and iterate and continue to grow it. It is an open it is a live service game, so there's definitely room for improvement for that. So basically, if you just got a PlayStation 5, yes, you have lots of stuff to look forward to. You have a full catalog of PlayStation 4 games that you can play on there. A lot of first-party games from PlayStation are getting 60 FPS patches, or they are getting PlayStation 5 upgrades. You do have to pay for some of those upgrades, like I was saying. But at the end of the day, they're usually only $10, and that's not bad. I mean, you are getting a pretty decent, substantial upgrade for most of them. So it has been pretty decent. So at the end of the day, if you have just gotten your PlayStation 5, yeah, like it's starting to get to a point where we're getting more content. You know, you got Deathloop launching this month, you know, in a few days. You have Kenya Bridge of Spirits launching on the 20th. So you're going to have that. You'll have your Call of Duty. You'll have all your other games throughout the end of the year. All the big hitters from PlayStation First Party have been pushed to 2022. So Forza Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7, and God of War have all been pushed into the 2022 year. My personal prediction for that is we're going to see, you know, Forbidden West in February. May, we're probably going to see a director's cut for The Last of Us 2. June, July is when we're going to see Gran Turismo 7, and I'm thinking October, November for God of War, and then there's going to be, you know, some other third-party timed exclusives that are probably going to come in between there, like Forspoken. Forspoken will probably be, you know, toward the end of next year. So, yeah, we're definitely 2022 is going to be a pretty big year for PlayStation. You're going to get a pretty good amount of games during the PlayStation calendar year for next year. So that's something to definitely be looking forward to. So now we have Xbox on the other hand. Xbox has definitely launched with a slow start. Well, PlayStation had, you know, Demon's Souls, Miles Morales, Sackboy. Sackboy's actually pretty good. I'm playing that. Demon's Souls is good. Miles Morales is good. There's like Bug Snacks, some other games that, you know, just didn't really register with me too much, but you know, you got Returnal, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, so there's definitely content on the PlayStation 5. The Xbox has been like really slow this generation. They pretty much launched the console with no exclusive games. You had nothing but third-party games to get you through the end of the year, and then you had the first one that was a timed exclusive. You had the Medium, which also launched on Game Pass. So the one good thing about the Xbox this generation is there's been no shortage of content to play with Game Pass. If you have an Xbox and you signed up for Game Pass, you do not have any kind of a shortage of games to play. You were given Outriders, you got MLB The Show, you've gotten Dark Alliance, you've gotten some pretty good named third-party titles, along with every first-party Xbox game that they make. So you've had access to basically a pretty big library of games. I think it's over like 300 games or something just by having Game Pass. So you really haven't had any shortage of things to play. Just like with the PlayStation, you know, you've had plenty of content. I would say overall, this is probably one of the better launches that we've ever had for either console because of the solid third-party support that we've gotten, and you know, Sony's first-party support. Xbox is now starting to hit its stride in being able to get out its first-party games. We have gotten Microsoft Flight Simulator just recently. Well, I mean, we did get Gears Tactics. That was a niche game. We did get, like a couple other things that are like, wow. But yeah, but Microsoft Flight Simulator is the first thing to really like truly wow me in video games in a long time. So I definitely recommend playing that. It's also free on Game Pass. We're going to be getting Forza Horizon 5 here in November, and then we were going to get Halo Infinite on December 8th. So basically, where PlayStation hit the ground running with titles, Xbox is now starting to hit that, and PlayStation's kind of pushing their stuff back. Xbox is going to start having more content more regularly. We're going to start seeing, like Xbox's whole next year is lined out from now until the end of the year. We're pretty much lined out with Xbox content not every month, but at least every quarter, capping off the year with Starfield at the end of the next year, 11/11, 2021 or 2022. So essentially, we've got plenty of content either way we go on these new consoles. You know, starting this month, there's like I said, there's Kenya Bridge of Spirits. You get a Death Stranding Director's Cut, Diablo 2, WRC 10, Tales of Arise. There's plenty of content to push us forward and to push us into next year. All of the PlayStation games being pushed back doesn't even matter. We've got plenty of third-party support, plenty of third-party AAA games that are coming out toward the end of this year. There's no shortage of anything to play. So when I say that both of these consoles have actually more than delivered on the hype, yeah, I totally believe that. I totally believe the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S have completely delivered on the hype. I'm hyped. I've seen some pretty amazing graphics so far, and these games are still technically cross-gen games, but we've seen some pretty good stuff. Ratchet and Clank looks amazing. Psychonauts 2 looks amazing. Microsoft Flight Simulator being able to fly all over the world, yes, it's amazing. MLB The Show 2021 looks great. Looks great. Looks amazing. There is no shortage of the beautiful games that we're going to get. WRC 10 looks amazing. We just got, Rims Racing. It looks pretty dang good. There's a lot of pop-in on that, but it still looks pretty good. Yeah, we're starting to see some pretty good-looking games going forward, and I am grateful that, I was able to get both consoles, and I was able to get them both early. I'm definitely looking forward to this generation, and I hope you are too. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.